an alternative way of responding?
I don't know the purpose. I mean, obviously, if someone's asking me a question, they want some kind of a clarity or understanding. Some of these things are real straightforward, and others, they don't even pertain to CCWD. We don't even have the ability to respond to those things. I think the biggest problem I'm having with them is a general lack of understanding how CCWD even works. I mean, there's questions in here that seem to indicate they think that the county somehow has control of how we budget money. They think we have the ability to change the election laws in the state of California. I'm puzzled by a bunch of it, but I want to be respectful, but I don't know how to answer most of this stuff. And you could probably have a 5-page answer for each individual question, but I don't know that at the end there'll be any more clarity. And I'm frustrated by not being able to provide that clarity.
And I just personally would hate to see the amount of staff time that would be required to dig into this stuff used for this type of purpose. But Mitch, do you have a alternative way of responding without digging this up and giving it to somebody who's requesting this type of thing?
We have public information laws to comply with. I mean, shouldn't we just follow those?
Well, we can follow those, and our public information laws to answer a lot of these is we would provide a copy of our budget, a copy of our CAFR, a copy of existing documents,
Yeah.
and not necessarily explanations and drawing out conclusions.
No, that's what this is one of those, if you look at the CC names, I'm not gonna mention any, but, this is one of those conspiracy things that they're trying to drum something up but we have public information laws, we should just follow them. It's certainly not Director Stump's, I don't believe any director has the authority to answer these questions or answer these things. I mean,
Or even the knowledge.
well,
I'm not an
it's
engineer.
I think this is a staff deal. The way we typically handle it is we ask for a deposit based on pages. You might ask for some priority and clarification, but as soon as they realize that there's a budget associated with this, they're going to have to come up with some money to comply with it. And let's just go that way. I mean,
I don't see the questions.
what else would we do?
That's kind of all we can do, but I guarantee you it's going to be seen as unresponsive, and they're going to be back to you.
Well, but these guys, listen, this is I can tell you right now, this is one of those, somebody's trying to drum up a conspiracy because the election's coming on, and reading through this, maybe they do want to know what's going on in my district. It is, if this is Ebbets Pass centric, they're asking for the wrong information.
Well, because they didn't understand that our districts are not the same as supervisory districts.
Well, but that's not District 5 is Darren Spellman's supervisory district, and that's Rancho.
Yeah.
And that's also my district.
Okay.
So maybe they are asking that, because his name's on here, I don't know, but it's coming from Ebbets Pass, I think they just got that wrong, but,
I don't know. I mean, I'm reading it and I'm puzzled by it, and I didn't want to respond until I brought it to the full board, because I don't want them to be able to come back and say, CCWD is not transparent.
And we can fulfill it just the way you're describing with those existing documents, the cover letter goes out, but I'm also here to tell you it's likely that you're all, given 4 seats on this election, it's very likely that you're all going to get very similar types of things in your areas. And so what we do here, I'd like to make is kind of
well, first of all, there's a process. They need to fill out a public records request. I think we have a form for that.
we certainly can do it that way.
Don't we?
Generally, somebody else submit a letter that will indicate public information.
But we have a public records procedure also, right? And there's costs associated with producing the documents, staff time and such.
Well, wouldn't that be I think that would be a great first step, and if they produce the funds that are going to be necessary to go through this process and even provide the documents that they're requesting, then move forward, or not. But that's, is that a thought?
We can handle it that way. Not a problem
Would that-
for us, it's just ultimately, I'm anticipating we all get more and more of these as we get.
I love the one, CCWDs, we're supposed to write them a public document about our exposure regarding potential water rights loss. That's confidential information. I mean, why would we're not gonna put that out to the public. You know, some of this stuff is so ridiculous, but,
It's nothing we can respond to, because we're not the ones that are taking away the water rights. It's coming from someplace else.
well, we don't know that that's true. We don't, I mean, but it's certainly not something.
Section 102 of the water code makes it pretty obvious.
We don't have a current mandated sprinkler support
Well, I wanted a
position.
discussion, because I didn't want this to be a surprise to any.
Some of these things just don't exist.
So, those are the generic documents we currently have provided, and all of them.
Well, I would send them I think it's always, when we have something that is printed, say, look, this is our copy, you can have it for 30 days at no cost, or if you want your own copies, but, I mean, our budget's a public document, is it on our website? Can they download all that? So I don't even know if we can get away with just doing that, direct them to those things first and say, if you need additional information,
We certainly-
contact us after you review these.
We certainly can direct them there and give them the information related to a public information request and how to go about that if they want additional things beyond like the budget that Catherine did.
You know, this district is unique, and I wanted, and it was, when I came on the board, I followed in Bertha's footsteps in terms of attending EPOC every month. Marita, as a supervisor, she attends and gives an update. When I first started, I attend and gave an update. And now it's progressed over the last 4 years to the point where it's not an update in terms of, I've given 3 reports on standby fees. And it's a real 30-minute process each month to answer whatever questions or reports that they're requesting. And this is, no one else on the board has to play this game. I
It's
mean,
not, but it's also not an agenda item, so.
well, you're right, I'm sorry, I'll stop the discussion.
Okay.
Just want to make you all aware we're going to do it.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Okay.
I have a question. What's the current status on the funding for the redwood tanks?
We have received our notice that we have been approved and authorized. So we have the approval, now we have the authorization. So we have 36 months spent once we get the final notice. So we're going to put it in part of our tank management plan to do the analysis of how a replacement tank would function up there, or more importantly, how do you even take this one offline and to put a new one in there. And so all that is part of that analysis of the tank management plan. The plan is approved and authorized.
Okay, now the funding is it all grant?
That one is all FEMA, OES. 25/7. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, what?
75% grant.
Okay. I was just curious what the status was.
Okay, moving forward, we're on reports. Thank you, Mitch, for completing that. Lynn, I'm guessing we're not, don't have a report. Jeff, do you have anything to report? Anything further? Thank you. Bill Purley's not here. Board reports, information, future agenda items. Director,
I There's no way I could add anything to the thorough meeting we just had.
Okay, good for you. Director Stump will, he will.
I wanted to ask in terms of, you're now getting the agendas and minutes for Mountain Counties and EPOC. Isn't that enough to keep you guys up to speed?
Absolutely.
Okay. I want you to be informed of what's going on.
Very good reading.
CCWD Water Summit meeting that I attended, sorry we missed you, Scott. Jeff enjoyed the process. I thought it was a very good process. I've had multiple comments about people that were there that thought it was really outstanding. My takeaway was the participants were extremely professional. This is kind of new, so I really enjoyed it. Following that meeting, we had a CCWD Highway 4 meeting. Dennis probably wants to comment on that, but I wanted to just acknowledge that we've got UPA and UPUD and Angel City anxious to come up with some kind of emergency backup in case there's ever a problem as far as water supply on that side of the county. They're continuing to try and figure out how to get additional water, and they'd like us to help them with that. They're curious in terms of the slurry line, and that's probably the key points, but Dennis might remember something that I've left out. Let's see, on the 24th, Mitch and I met with Amador Water and Amador supervisors in terms of how we might work better with Amador County in terms of turning the Mokwise project into more of a upcountry-centric idea. It tends to just by gravity get sucked down into the valley where the big money tends to be. So we're trying to figure out how we can partner better in order to utilize Mokwise to our benefit. The 28th, I attended the Sierra Water Work Group meeting. They gave updates regarding IRWMs that were present. They're planning their annual workshop in Tahoe, and I did a presentation on merging with Mountain Counties. February 5th was EPOC. You guys saw the results of that, but they're again real wound up about standby fees. No matter how I explain it, it seems like a general lack of understanding how it works or whether it's even legal. The February 10th, I was requested to attend a Murphy Sanitary Board meeting. They've got practically a brand new board except for Fred Kett. He's been there forever. They're interested, and Mitch is going to start discussions with them about the potential of running their sewage down to our Douglas Flat plant so that they can get out of the processing business, and we can help them in that regard as far as becoming partners without taking over their district. There was several people in the audience that were very vocal about all we wanted to do was steal Murphy Sanitary.
Prized position.
Yeah.
You need to brief me a little bit on that, because that's a new one I thought that thing had gone away.
No, we had the public that was up in arms. The 10th also was the GABA meeting. We're a member of GABA. That's the business group in Arnold area, and they've got a brand new board, and I think they're making some real serious progress. They're trying real hard to try and help the businesses up in Arnold. Arnold's had a tough time these last few years, so they're working real hard on that. And then yesterday I met with Mountain County Ledge Committee in Sacramento, and there was a class on lobbying 101, how to approach your leaders in Washington and Sacramento, and the takeaways and what they're looking for in the meetings and what we need to be providing in order to be more successful both in Washington and in Sacramento. It was an exceptionally good training. I mean, this isn't my first time meeting with a legislator.
What's their favorite wine?
There is no favorites. There is no favorites. But the process was good, and the Ledge Committee seemed to be energized coming out of the meeting, so I was real happy about that. And that's the end of my...
Thank you, sir. Mr. Dean?
I'll defer to next meeting.
Okay. Mr. Dooley?
I don't really have a lot to add to the Highway 4, except that it seems like it's trying to pick up dry, loose sand and hold it. It's just everything seems to be slipping away all the time. And the slurry line is an interesting article. I thought we kicked some ideas around, but I don't think we solved anything on the slurry line. There's no consensus on what they're willing to support. And I tried to be point blank in asking about the whole concept of areas of origin. They sounded accommodating, but still no answers. As my interpretation, I didn't understand anything they said on it. So I liked having the meeting, but I didn't see anything where we accomplished much. Mitch, you said to me the other day when I was talking to you that you would like to have a meeting with, one-on-one with Jack Lynch. If you still feel that way, I can arrange that.
Jack actually had indicated that he wanted to meet with me, and I responded to that would be fine with me. I think having that one-on-one to help educate and enlighten their board members. It seems to me that Jack is certainly someone who deals with facts first, and so I'd like to be able to give him facts, and maybe that might perhaps change their perception of what cards they really have to play, what sequence they should be playing.
Yeah.
So yes, is the answer.
Okay, then, I won't get in the middle of this, but if you need my help, I'll facilitate it.
Good, thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay, and I have nothing further to add, nothing to report. Item 11, our next board meetings, Wednesday, February 26th, 9 a.m. right here, and then Wednesday, March 12th, 9 a.m. Right here in this room are our next two meetings. We're going to take a break here and then go into closed session. Item to be being discussed, conference with legal counsel, potential litigation, government code 54965.9A. We got one case.
Scott, you got a question, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or
More
a comment.
Comment,
You
question.
can sit there and read, you don't have to look at me all the time. I just have a question, and I won't delay the meeting for an answer right now. I'll submit questions to the whole head full of questions from Director Adams reported a few minutes ago that CCWD is sitting on 55 acres of land in Valley Springs. And like I say, that constitutes all kinds of questions. I'll submit them so that it can be answered in a more less time-consuming basis than setting this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take a break and go into closed session.